Hi, it's Barbara. Welcome back to Wiki Design. Today we're going to talk about 5 website design trends that I'm really loving right now. I'm always looking at different websites for creative inspiration, and these are things that I am seeing over and over again that I really like. These are things that I definitely want to incorporate more of in my own designs, and maybe you're working on a creative project yourself and you need some inspiration. So I wanted to make this video to talk about 5 trends that I really love in website design right now. So let's get started. The first trend that I want to talk about is people incorporating more textures and patterns into their website designs. I think this is a great trend because for such a long time, website design was really flat and kind of boring. I love the fact that people are incorporating more patterns and textures into their layout and making the layouts more fun instead of just being flat and boring. I think it really adds a lot of dimension to the overall layout and makes the layouts more interesting. This is a great example of how to use a pattern in a website design. I love this textured pattern that's in the background here. And if you scroll down the page, there is also some creative patterns being used for the images. We have this image with this really cool pattern in the background. And if you scroll down a little bit further, again, we have this textured pattern here. So this is a great example of how to use patterns on a website design. In this example, I just love how this looks. It's so vibrant and fun. This is for a restaurant in Santa Barbara. And if you scroll down the page, you can see that this pattern repeats. And they also have this really fun animation as you scroll down. It's like certain parts of the pattern kind of come out and scroll down along with you. I think this is just super cool. I love the pattern. It goes so well with their brand and it's just really fun. This website uses patterns in a more subtle way. Now, I love the way this website looks. I think it's really pretty, very stylish. This is for a photographer, and you can see the logo has this pretty floral accent in it. And if you scroll down the page, that floral accent is being used throughout the design. You can see it here, and you can also see it if you scroll down a little bit further right over here. So this is something that I'm seeing more and more of, people taking elements of their logo or brand design and putting it on their website. Now, I think it just adds a little bit of that extra flair. If this was just a white background, it probably wouldn't look as nice. It still would look good, but this just adds that extra special touch. So I really like how all 3 of these websites kind of use patterns and textures in different ways. The second trend that I want to talk about are more minimalistic designs. I love this trend because it's challenging. It might look like it's really easy to build a website like this, and in terms of code and development, yes, it is easy to build a website that doesn't have a lot of moving parts. But to actually edit down the content and create a layout like this is very challenging, and I'm definitely up for the challenge. I think it's great that people are creating more minimalistic designs instead of putting a ton of stuff onto a page because people's attention spans are really short. I think it's necessary to create more minimalistic layouts because people don't want to read a ton of content. So while it is challenging to create a more minimal design, I think it's a really good trend that we're going to see a lot more of in the future. I think that this is a great example of a very minimalistic design. There's not a lot of text on this website. When you get to the home page, there's just a video and you can scroll through some of these different images here, but there's really not a lot in terms of content. And if you scroll down the page, again, it's pretty simplistic, a lot of white space, looks really minimal, but really well done. This is another great example of a minimalistic design. We have this nice big image. We can slide through a couple different options here, but again, not a lot of text going on, just really the images to look at. And if you scroll down, it's almost like this grid layout, but we have very little text, lots of white space. The images were carefully selected to go with the text. I think it's really well done. In this example, this is actually an e-commerce store. So we have very little text again when you get to the home page, and when you scroll down, we have these nice images for the different products, but very clean layout, very minimal, and it looks really nice in my opinion. The third trend that I'm seeing more and more of that I really like are overlapping elements. So for a while, things were kind of set up in blocks and again, were pretty boring, but people started to experiment with overlapping elements in website design, and I'm totally here for it. I think it makes the layouts look a lot more interesting, and you can really do a lot to draw in your readers by overlapping different elements. I think it looks really cool, and it's something that I'm going to continue to do for a while because I really do like the way it looks. This website for Jenna Kutcher is a great example of how to use overlapping elements. When we scroll down the page a bit, we can see that this box kind of overlaps a little bit onto this image and a little bit onto here. And as we scroll down even further, we can see that the text kind of overlaps a little bit there. And we scroll down further, I think this section is really cool. We have overlapping text here. We have this script font that's overlapping on the image. The images are really designed to allow for this, and I think it works really well. So I love the way that this looks. This is another cool example of overlapping elements. So these people are photographers, and they kind of do the same thing with the text. They overlap the script text on the image, but they kind of cut the image between two backgrounds. And they also use this leaf to cut through the backgrounds as well. Now just imagine if that wasn't happening and we had two separate sections, this cream colored section, and then below it we had this darker section with the image on the left and the right. It probably wouldn't be as interesting. So I think that the way that they overlapped certain areas made it look really nice. The third example I have regarding overlapping is this website for Flat Top Hill Vineyards. I like how the text cuts into this video that they have, and when you scroll down the page, they kind of do some similar stuff with overlapping the text on the image and on the background. I think it just looks really nice, and it makes the layout way more interesting. The next trend that I am really loving is scrolling animations. Now this isn't a technology that's super new. This has been going on for a while. Parallax scrolling has been a thing now for several years, but the way people are using this scrolling has definitely gone up a notch. People are really creating more immersive experiences on their websites. So as you scroll down the page, things will move, shift, and change, and it really tells a story. And I just love that. I am really looking forward to creating designs with more scrolling animations so that the website tells a story. This website for Proto Homes is such a great example of how to use scrolling animation. So we get to the home page and we start to scroll down the page, and look what happens. I mean, come on, how cool is this? It really tells a story. It is so interesting, and I just love the way that they did this website. Whoever designed this did such a fantastic job. This next website is for WeFlow. I believe this is a website for online yoga classes. So if you scroll down the page on this website, you get some really cool scrolling effects. And again, it just really immerses you in the content. You become really interested, and it kind of guides you as to what they want you to see. So I really love how this was done. The third example that I have for scrolling animations is this website that is the story of The Goonies. The Goonies is one of my favorite movies, so I just love the way that this website was built. If you haven't seen The Goonies, you definitely should check it out. It's a really fun movie. But as you scroll down the page, you get the entire story of The Goonies, and it's just so cool the way that this is done. All these different elements start moving and you get really a whole picture of this movie through the website design. So again, a very well done website design, very cool use of scrolling animations. The last thing that I want to talk about is animated illustrations. I think we're seeing a lot more of this in website design because it's a lot easier to achieve this look now because we have Lottie animations. If you're not familiar with Lottie, this was something that was created actually by Airbnb, and it's a trend that we're seeing a lot more of on website designs. These animated illustrations are so fun. It makes the site look more vibrant, and you can really do a lot of cool stuff with them. So I really love this trend. It's something that I've used in a few website designs in the past, and I definitely want to include more of in the future. This is a great example of how to use animated illustrations in a website design. I love that there is just subtle movement with the characters. We have the hair moving. We have the woman blowing a bubble with her gum. It's just really fun. And as you scroll down the page, you get more of those subtle animations. This is a really well done, fun website. This next example, again, there's some subtle animations going on in here, but this really does kind of draw your attention to this button, which would then play a video. As you kind of move your mouse too, it moves with you. And there's also this fun little character. I think this works really well. This example I chose because I think a lot of people assume that animations and illustrations are only for kid-related websites, but this is not geared toward children at all, and I think it works really well. I think these are really beautiful illustrations, and the animations are simple but elegant. As you scroll down the page, we have some more things kind of animating in. These are different projects that this company has worked on. What I really loved were these hover illustrations, though. I think that is just so cool. The way that they did this is so smart, and it really does draw your attention to the different areas that they want you to click on. We scroll down even further, they kind of do the same thing with these illustrations. I just love the way that they did this. This is such a clever website design. So those are 5 website design trends that I'm really in love with right now. I hope that I gave you some creative inspiration for your next website design project, and leave a comment down below if there are trends that you're seeing that you really love. I'd love to know what you think. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.